How's it going, everyone? Want to go over the latest PlayStation System software update that has just dropped. System software update 24.07-10.20. We'll go over the notes on that, and also we have a couple of other PlayStation game updates to go over, PlayStation updates in general. Disc Edition's PS5 look to be the predominant leader as far as PlayStation 5 consoles sold, the disc-based console versus the digital console. And we have a bit of an update on Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, which, as I've said before, I think in a vacuum, it's actually a nice little remaster. We have the install size on that, and we'll talk that at the end of this video. But right off the top, system software update features for PS5 consoles that just dropped with the new update. Activities now display as in progress, not started, or completed, depending on whether you have ever started or completed the activity. Potential spoilers will still be hidden. We've improved system software performance and stability, and we've improved the messages and usability on some screens as well. All of that is rolling out with the latest update. Now, it also does seem like something fairly interesting has happened with this update. PS5's Resume Activity feature apparently gone for good. Following last month's PS5 System update, players noticed that console's Resume Activity feature disappeared, and now it looks like the changes to the activity do point towards the option of resuming activity not coming back. They haven't actually said anything about this, but if you're waiting for that to come back, looks like that won't be happening as far as the resume activity feature. So that's a little bit of a bummer. I would just like Sony and PlayStation would be a little bit more transparent as far as everything going on, but you know, it is what it is. I think PlayStation and their communication with their consumer is something that they could very much work on. I mean, the PlayStation Network literally went down for how many hours a month or so ago? And how long did it take for us to actually get some insight from PlayStation? Yeah, it took quite a while. Like, it's just their line of communication to their consumer, I just feel like could be better, but that's my 2 cents. For now, we at least have the system software update to download and some new notes as far as that's concerned. And again, it looks like the resume activity feature has been pulled and it won't be coming back. So it is what it is as far as that's concerned. Moving on from that, some pretty interesting data. Disc editions of PlayStation 5s make up 82% of the lifetime sales of the PS5, and those are the ones with obviously the disc drive, and the digital only console is just 18% of the total sales. I'm a little bit surprised at the amount of the disparity between the two. However, I do think the majority of people that buy a PlayStation 5, they want the option to put the disc in their console. That isn't to necessarily say that they're buying all of their games physically, but when you're talking about buying a $450 or $500 console, you'll spend a little bit extra if you're already dropping $400 to $500. Might as well spend the extra for the generation to also have the option. If I get a physical game, I can put the disc in. If I get a gift that is a physical game, I can put the disc in and I can still play the game. However, I still think a large portion of those people that buy the disc-based console do end up buying a lot of games digitally. I think there's people that play games physically and they buy games discounted digitally or whenever it meets their needs because they don't want to go to the store. It really can be something as simple like that. Just having the option to buy something digitally, they'll take advantage of that at a moment's notice, but being locked into digital only, that's where I think the problem is for a lot of people, and that's what I've always said. We want the most amount of options possible. If I want to buy a game digitally, I can do that. If I want to get a physical copy of the game, I can do that as well. And obviously with things like the PS5 Pro and the digital edition of the PS5, you are locked out of that unless you buy the disc drive attachment. And it seems like a lot of people do end up going that route. I do think that, you know, as the years go by, just naturally, just like any other entertainment medium, that gaming will move more and more digital, but I do think there's gonna be more of a pushback than, let's say, streaming video versus like DVDs. Like gaming, I think that's one element that people do want hard copies of their games, whereas, you know, video streaming, music streaming, yeah, can you buy music CDs? Yes, but music streaming is pretty much what people do. I don't think we're gonna get to a point where video games are entirely digital. Even something like Black Myth Wukong, that game came out digital only, and there was enough clamoring for a physical copy, that they're doing a physical copy of that. Like, this is just the stuff that happens. There's always going to be an audience, I feel, for a physical-based product, and I think these numbers do show that, although I do think the digital-based consoles, if they continue to make digital-only consoles, I think that number will grow, but not by much. I don't think we're going to get to a point where it's a legit 50-50 or 60-40 in favor of the digital console versus the disc-based console. I think Sony, PlayStation, they ideally would want you to have that. There's very much a reason why there isn't a disc drive included on the PS5 Pro. They want you into that ecosystem even more, where they have full control over you. You having a physical disc, that is you retaining a level of control where you can share that game, you can sell that game, and ultimately, if you sell a game to somebody, Sony doesn't collect any revenue off that. If they can get you into digital and buying games digital only, suddenly, first of all, they're making a lot more revenue off each game sold, they're making a lot more money, and it's just more control over their consumer, which every publisher wants that. Is it something easy to execute? Absolutely not, but if they could have it in their ideal world, they would already forego disc drives. They would just have digital only, everybody invested into their ecosystem, and they can generate just revenue, dollar after dollar, that way, but that's just not a realistic world, and thankfully the consumer can still have a fair bit of control. Lastly, I do want to note Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered will be a 93GB install. It is out October the 31st. The preload will be going live October 24th. The standard edition is $49.99. For those of you that already own the base game, you can upgrade to the Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered edition for $10 on both PlayStation 5 and PC. Let me just say, Horizon Zero Dawn, over the last 10 years or so, it's one of my favorite games. Honestly, I could probably go as far as to say Horizon Zero Dawn is one of my favorite games ever. I've completed the game like 4 times, or maybe even more than that. Several times on PS4 and then several times on PC as well. I will play through the remastered version of the game. Why I was critical about Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is more so we don't really need it. HZD still looks very good. However, if you look at these screenshots, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is a far better looking game, and I had imagined that it was going to be, because if you just look at Horizon Forbidden West versus Zero Dawn, Forbidden West is a considerably better looking game than Zero Dawn. Yes, they both were released on the PS4, but even the PS4 version of Forbidden West looks far better than Zero Dawn. If they could get it in line with Forbidden West, that was already going to be a huge W as far as visuals go. The issue with Zero Dawn, I really do believe, is the optics. The lack of PlayStation releases this year just makes a remastered release like this, coupled with something like the Until Dawn lackluster remake that came out earlier this month, and a $700 console that's gonna come out in just a couple weeks. The optics of the situation are just bad. In a vacuum, a $10 upgrade for this I don't think is all that bad, on top of the fact that there is this bevy of PlayStation 3 games that are just getting lost in the ether, and they're not getting remastered. We're not getting an Infamous collection, we're not getting a Killzone collection, a Resistance collection, but we're getting Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a game that is playable on the PS4. Optically, it just looks terrible, but in a vacuum, I do think the remaster looks worthwhile, and hey, Horizon Zero Dawn's a game that I always enjoy, I can always go back and have a good time with, and at some point, I'll play through Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster. Right now, you guys, Romancing Saga looking kind of spicy. You got Dragon Quest 3 coming out, Stalker 2's coming out, Dragon Age. There's way too many games right now. Red Dead Redemption on PC. There's way too many games coming out right now to replay Horizon Zero Dawn, but at some point down the line during, a little bit of a lull, will I go back and play HCD? Probably will, but that'll do it for me. Again, a brand new system software update for PlayStation 5 rolling out. It looks like a feature has been pulled for good. Disc editions making a large bulk of PS5 console sales, and Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered probably going to end up being one of the most controversial game releases of the year. In a vacuum, again, $10 upgrade for the visual improvements I don't think is that big of an ask, and I do think the visual improvements are relatively significant, but optically it just looks terrible. But the preload will be going live tomorrow. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.